Hey, Marijuana Nation! Just a quick correction on yesterday's show. I totally messed up a fairly important detail in talking about our sponsor Ease and their support of the Hood Incubator. I mistakenly said that Ease was giving the Hood Incubator $1 million over 3 years, whereas Ease is actually spreading that money out to not only the Hood Incubator, but various other Bay Area organizations doing good social justice and community work. I apologize to everyone at Ease and the Hood Incubator for messing that up, and to you, our listeners. I hate when I get things wrong. Sorry about that. Today's episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our new sponsor, CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. If your legal marijuana business needs a better way to accept payments from your customers, CardMax Payments has you covered. They offer a wide range of merchant processing services for the legal cannabis industry, including the ability to handle e-commerce payments for vendors of CBD and hemp products. CardMax Payments requires no reserve and prides themselves on their competitive pricing plans. Find out if CardMax Payments would be a good fit for your legal cannabis business by popping over to cardmaxpayments.com to get a free quote. That's cardmaxpayments.com, which is spelled exactly like it sounds. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, March 6th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 445 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story of the day is Marijuana Business Daily's Chart of the Week, which shows the scope of how successful the first 6 months of the Las Vegas adult use marijuana industry has been in terms of sales. Eli McVeigh's story has some great context driving the chart, which shows Nevada absolutely destroying Colorado and Washington state when it comes to how much money flowed through adult use sales in the state's first half of full legality. Nevada's mark of just under $200 million dwarfs Washington state's $67 million and Colorado's $114 million, and makes a decent run at both those states' most current past 6-month hauls. I think one of the more interesting angles on this story is the uniqueness of Nevada's tourism market, with Las Vegas drawing in as many people as it does. A good storyline to have on your radar. Tom Angel over at Marijuana Moments picked up on a recently released annual report by the International Narcotics Control Board, or INCB, an organization operating within the United Nations. That report criticizes countries like the United States and Canada for implementing legal marijuana. The report also calls out Uruguay for legalizing adult use marijuana sales, the Netherlands for proposed legislation to do the same, and Jamaica for letting Rastafarians legally consume cannabis as part of their religious practice. Though the report is fairly damning, the INCB doesn't really have much power to actually do anything, and I think Tom worded it well when he said that, quote, its actions usually don't amount to more than the issuing of sternly worded reports, unquote. You can pop over to Marijuana Moment for the full read and for a link to the report itself if you're into reading sternly written warnings. Our final top story of the day is a video shot by medical marijuana activists of Congresswoman Barbara Comstock of Virginia being questioned about her vote against the proposed bill that would make it easier for military veterans to talk to their doctors at the VA about the use of medical marijuana. Congressman Comstock was asked about her anti-veteran vote by a woman whose Marine brother had unfortunately passed away. This is one of those stories that you just have to click over and watch in full. The good congresswoman from Virginia basically sputtered out a meaningless word salad in trying to articulate her position, or lack thereof, on medical marijuana. Open this one up, watch it, share it. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. Whether you have a medical or adult use dispensary, a cultivation facility, a testing lab, or even a compassionate care club, CardMax Payments is there to help you accept payments from your customers. They specialize in working with more logistically challenging industries like legal cannabis and have an extensive network of banking and financial partners with which to place their clients. Escape the burdens of doing all of your business in cash by swinging over to cardmaxpayments.com for a free quote on how CardMax Payments can make your life as a vendor merchant a little bit easier. That's cardmaxpayments.com, which again is spelled exactly like it sounds. cardmaxpayments.com. Marijuana Business Daily is reporting that Canadian medical marijuana company Emerald Health Therapeutics has been issued a cultivation license by Health Canada to grow 1.1 million square feet of cannabis. Once up and running, the new facility, to be located in British Columbia, will churn out 165,000 pounds of cannabis per year, or more than 450 pounds per day. The company says they expect to get their cost of production to less than $1 per gram and to be fully up and running sometime next year. $1 per gram. That's $3.50 per eighth. I hope you're paying attention to what's going on up in Canada. Yesterday, the Nevada Gaming Policy Committee met and voted to ban casino gaming companies from being involved in the legal marijuana industry, though they did decide to let casinos host legal cannabis events and conventions in their facilities. Also meeting yesterday was Pennsylvania's Medical Marijuana Advisory Board to talk about ways to improve their medical marijuana system, which we've reported on for its recent launch. The board will finalize a list of recommendations later next month to be sent on to the state Secretary of Health. We'll definitely keep an eye on this one, as so far Pennsylvania's done a pretty decent job of rolling out their medical program from scratch in a thoughtful way. The Detroit Free Press has a good long story about the challenges faced by the city of Detroit in benefiting from legal medical marijuana. We've touched on this storyline a couple of times in the past, as a number of lawsuits have tied the city's hands in developing a proper medical marijuana program, diverting potentially millions of much-needed dollars out of city coffers. Michigan is one of the larger legal medical marijuana markets in the country, so probably not a bad one to click over for the full read. Bloomberg looks at the declining popularity among businesses in testing job applicants for drugs, particularly marijuana. Cannabis is one of the more longer lingering drugs covered under standard drug testing, so usually when we're talking about pre-employment drug screening, we're really talking about marijuana. Bloomberg's piece attributes the shift in HR practices to the growing number of legal states, the accompanying dissipation of the stigma tied to using cannabis, and the overall tight job market. Whatever the reasons, the end of the days of having to pee in a cup before you can get a job can't come quickly enough. Our friends over at Weed News picked up on a poll conducted by the folks at the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, or NORML, that shows a rise in the number of adults in Michigan who support marijuana legalization. NORML has run the same survey for the past 4 years and has seen support for adult use legalization rise from 47% in 2014 to 61% in their most recent poll. Pop over to Weed News for all the details and for a direct link to NORML's poll. And finally for today, New Jersey state lawmakers have begun discussing the idea of legalizing adult use cannabis. The State Assembly Oversight's Committee held its first hearing yesterday on the matter, taking testimony from industry experts and other involved stakeholders. This comes at a time when the state has a new governor in Phil Murphy, who made it clear while campaigning that he wanted to legalize adult use soon after coming to office. There is also a proposed measure to do the same in the state's Senate. This is also a good story to click over for the full read. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, CardMax Payments, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says, Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.